I always say I was raised by my parents, my brothers and sisters, and the Redemptorist priest and the Grand Rapids Dominican nuns, because they were as much part of our lives growing up as our parents. And whatever our parents said, the nuns backed, and whatever the nuns said, the parents backed. So we were raised by all of them.
And the sisters were, I don't have an adjective for them, but it's all I know is, as I watched them, I thought to myself, when I grow up, I want to be like this. And of course, you know how it goes. I had different ideas. At one point I thought, gee, I'd like to marry a dentist and, live out of all this farm work and all this. But it went out. After I graduated from high school, I entered the Dominican Sisters in Grand Rapids at Marywood, and that's where I became acquainted with Aquinas College.
I live in Chimbote, Peru. Chimbote is a fishing town. It's about 250 miles north of Lima, right on the coast. We're right on the Pacific Ocean. We're on the Atacama Desert. And the city itself is a desert. It was now it's progressed some, but the hillside and the sand dunes are where the majority of the people live. They live in poverty, and we still have a good segment that lives in extreme poverty, yet still.
We already had 4 sisters here, and the priests that were working with them were very concerned about the high number of newborns that were dying, the number of maternal deaths, and they were hoping to establish a maternal child care facility that would help to improve this mortality rate. And they knew we had some nurses, and so they asked that they be prepared in midwifery and come and help them.
This is where the need came up to develop a mission here for health care. We had our catechetical sisters, and then we when the nurses came down, we developed into a healthcare center, and we have the center of, it's called the Social Work Center, Maternidad de Maria, Maternity of Mary, and to meet the needs of the very poor and the extreme poor.
We dedicated ourselves to establishing different programs along the way that would definitely stem the tide of the infant and maternal mortality rate here in this particular poverty-stricken area.
Like I say, Aquinas has always been a part of our lives, and being at Marywood, I mean, I consider Aquinas part of the family,
Several years ago, when the students began coming here, which for us was a tremendous delight to be reconnected with something that was so important in our younger years. There is nothing better in life to see youth that are interested in service. I mean, you could ask them to do anything and they were delighted to do it, and they had fun doing it, but very interested and very kind. It gives me hope for a future generation that has such tremendous values that they would give their time to do something like this.
I really accept the reward, not for myself, but for our personnel that have just taken on the mission, and for our volunteers, but especially the Aquinas volunteers, because they brought the mission to life when they came here.
I don't understand why, we were even chosen for this award, because the Hall of Fame, it's like something beyond, I don't know. I never even thought about a Hall of Fame. I really didn't.